Hello, MavMind Collective, and welcome to another episode of the HypnoSales Show. Today I'm going to be talking about how to predict the future. So some of you that are watching, I've worked with you before, and you probably have seen me or heard me use this psychic. I'm a psychic kind of approach, right? You've heard me in meetings with customers or prospects or clients say, I bet you didn't know I was psychic, and I'm going to predict the future right now. Do you want to hear it? And then I go on to predict the future of what's going to happen in that meeting. I do that because I want to have a little bit of fun with the customer, the prospect client. I want them to feel like it'll be a little silly, so they don't take me that serious. But then, you know, at the end of the day, everybody, when someone says something like that, they know it's not real. They know you're not psychic, but they want to still hear what you're going to say anyway, because they know you've been a vendor, you've been selling your product for a while. They probably know it comes from a place of being, you know, experienced and been in the situation before. In fact, you can even say that. You can say, you know, I've done this hundreds and hundreds of times with other customers and clients, and I'm going to predict the future because I know what's going to happen. Like, you can say it like that. So it's not like I'm really a psychic, but it's like I can kind of tell what's going on. So they tend to trust you more because you have more experience and you're able to feel confident enough to predict the future, right? To future tense. Now, the actual technique is used really if you're, at least I use it most of the time, if my client's being kind of indecisive, or if they're just not sure, or they don't seem to be responding to me very quickly all the time, and I want to speed things up. So what I'll do is I'll break out this technique of I'm going to predict the future in order to try to kind of really push it into their subconscious mind. And if they don't really want to buy, then I almost get like this immediate pushback reaction, because they already know they're not going to buy. They're not going to go move forward, because the desired behavior is ultimately I want them to buy, or the desired behavior is I want to go to the next step. So that's another one. If they don't think they're going to want to go to the next step, they'll push back when whatever that desired behavior you express. So that's why I like to use this technique to put it into the future. And I put it in the future because their conscious mind is distracted by anything that's time bound. So by saying it's going to happen in the future, it hasn't happened yet, their conscious mind is going to listen to it, but it's not going to be able to filter it out because it hasn't happened yet. So there's nothing to defend against. So there's no defense. The defense is down by default, because I'm not talking about this moment, like this meeting. I'm talking about at the end of the meeting. In fact, I might even say 60 minutes from now, I'm going to predict what's going to happen. 60 minutes from now, when this meeting is over and we're finishing up, in that last 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the last 2 minutes, right? And then you use like the phrase "you will" or "we will," and then you describe that whatever that behavior is in the last 2 minutes, 60 minutes from now, 58 minutes from now. You can be exact. In fact, if you're more exact like that, the subconscious will just go, nope, I don't know anything about that. That's the future, I don't know. And then the conscious goes, 58 minutes exactly. Okay, what's going to happen then? And it's listening real intent. You've really focused them in. You're pulling them in hypnotically into that, 58 and a half minutes from now, in 36 seconds, this is what's going to happen. Right? Even you're wondering what I'm going to say just because I put an exact time like that, right? Your conscious can't defend against that because it hasn't happened yet. So I'm doing it because I want to future tense. It's called future tensing, and I want to get their mind into the future so they won't be able to filter it out. Now listen to everything I'm saying. I say "you will" or "we will," and I describe the behavior, and then I use the word "now" in there at the end somewhere. And so an example of it, because this is the subconscious. The subconscious hears that. So the conscious mind hears "will." It hasn't happened yet, so it's "will happen." It's going to. And then now the subconscious hears that. So this is all conscious, and this is subconscious. Make an S here. Subconscious, right there. Okay? So that's how I'm able to talk to both conscious and subconscious mind, by predicting the future like this. So I might say, for example, so 58 and a half minutes and 46 seconds from now, you're going to be thinking to yourself, wow, I've never had an aha moment like I've had right now. And I can't believe that I really find that this is exactly the product that you want. That's what you're going to be saying now. You're going to be thinking that. You may not say it to me, but you're going to be thinking that. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I think I'm probably going to be right about that. What do you think? So notice when I was saying that, I was saying you will, and then I even in there I said you will be saying I want this, or you will want this, you will want to make a decision. And then I said now, and I use the word now to bring it to where the subconscious then wakes up and says, oh, now this is not in the future, it's right now. And it thinks everything that I'm saying is right this moment. And it has to make a judgment then on whether it believes that or not. And if it believes it and everybody keeps going and they let you predict it, chances are pretty high that they're probably liking your product and they want to move to the next level. If they've already decided they don't want to do it, but they've just been indecisive and they've been kind of like not committing to you at all, this will force them to kind of commit because they'll have a reaction to it. Typically, that will be like, no. Like they won't know why, but they'll just be like, no. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And they'll have to like reveal it, or they'll just go really quiet even in the meeting and won't react with you because you're forcing that in their mind to make a decision. Again, if they're being indecisive, this is a really good technique to kind of get that to happen. Now, I can also, instead of putting the now at the end, I can also start now at the beginning of the next concept or next agenda item that we're talking about in this meeting that we're having right now. So I can say, maybe I end it with, and then you will, at the end of the meeting at that 58.5 minutes and 14 seconds, you will be saying to yourself, I think I am ready to buy this product. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is blah, 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 blah. So again, I use now as the transition word for the next sentence, but the subconscious here's the word now right after that statement. And as long as I deliver it with the feeling and the emotion that I want it to be now, and I know it's at the end of that future tensing statement, the subconscious will pick up on it and it'll start to think, and then it has to decide, does it believe it or not? And then you kind of get them to either confess it, or if they just let you keep going, chances are pretty high that they're already making the decision to go with you in your product or your service. So that's how this works. Again, I predict in the future, 58 minutes from now, I don't know if you know I'm psychic, but I've been doing this a long time. I've done it with hundreds of other customers. I know how this is going to end and how this meeting is going to end and what you're going to be thinking. Would you like to know my prediction? Okay, thank you. So at 58.5 minutes from now, exactly, and in like 14 seconds, you're going to be saying to yourself, wow, my mind's blown. This is awesome. I've never had a presentation, a demo this great. I've never had a conversation this in depth. I got all my answers. I'm feeling really comfortable, and I'm thinking that I'm ready to buy. Now, I don't know if you are going to believe that or not. Maybe I could be wrong, but that's my prediction, okay? So that was an example of using now to kind of bring it back and say, now I could be wrong, right? I'm not psychic. I could have it totally wrong. But I said it in such a way where I meant it at the end of that other statement. You are going to decide to buy now. So I'm telling them, you're going to decide to buy now. So I'm telling them right now, you're going to decide to buy now. And subconsciously, they have to make a little space in their subconscious for that to fit. So if I'm competing with other competitors in their mind, I've just carved a little space for that to fit. And they have to put it there, and then they have to decide if they want to keep it there or move it out. And so I can kind of get them to be a little bit more decisive than they have been, if that's the case. So that's how I like to use this technique. There's other ways to use it, but this is the way I like to use it that's the most effective to get them to either admit or push back and reject, so I don't waste my time. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather qualify out as soon as possible. And if they're not serious and they're being indecisive, if I can qualify out, I'm better off finding another client or prospect that is serious, where when I do this technique, they're allowing it in and they're actually confirming it that I'm right, that the prediction was right. I've had clients afterwards say, I remember when you came in and you said you were psychic, you were totally correct. We did all the things you said. It was amazing. You must be psychic. No, I'm not psychic. I just know that if I do this, I carve a little place in their subconscious, and then they have to make the decision, and I can kind of get them to be more decisive than they have been by doing this. So I hope you found this useful. In fact, I know you did, and I know you're going to probably share it with someone. I predict the future. I predict right now. I want to know what's going to happen. You're going to find this so valuable right now that you're going to share it with somebody else, and you're going to like and subscribe, and you're going to tell somebody else about MavMind, and you're going to check out mavmind.com, and you're going to subscribe there as well, and you're going to follow me for future free videos on customer facing type communication skills like this, all involving the subconscious and hypnosales. Because ultimately, you're all hypnotists. You just don't know it yet.